Hello and welcome back to the ministry. This is Taj McCameron, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. And this was something that's been on my heart to do for a while, ever since I saw the article that I wrote about 5 years ago about this. And it's been in a debate within myself as or if I was going to talk about this, because it starts to borderline on certain political issues, to say the least. What am I talking about? LGBTQ. This is a subject that a majority of Christians will not touch. Why? Because there is a stigma in the church that you either go all the way left or all the way right, which could also be looked at as political. Are you all the way blue? Are you all the way red? Are you all the way right wing? Are you all the way left wing? What is that? I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. It's division. And the word does say that the Lord does come to divide people. But there is also an element where he wants to bring people in unity to himself. Okay? Why would I want to talk about the LGBTQ movement at all as a Christian? Well, this is why. And I'm going to try to say this as politically correct here as possible. Later down the line, I will begin to elaborate. But for this, because as we know, social media has algorithms, and they kind of tend to vilify content that speaks on this element. So I have to be cautious and aware of that fact. So let me keep it that way for the algorithm particularly. But I am sharing my true heart about this situation, and we'll dig deeper into the spiritual part in another part. We'll dig deeper into the political part in another part. But right now, this is specifically me sharing my heart and what I truly believe that the Lord is trying to do in this season. Jesus help me, because this was sitting on me. Let me start by saying this. I have my own personal story in relation to this situation. Was I ever a person that was gay or homosexual? No. When I was a teenager, still trying to find out myself, did I have desires in that direction? How do I say this? I did not desire to be in any type of homosexual or gay relations. I don't even like using those words because to me it sounds slightly derogatory. But I will say this. I'll dig deeper into it when I go into the spiritual warfare part. But for this part, I will say this. When you are young, your mind is not able to process things in certain ways, so you don't see that's a gay person, that's a straight person. I should treat this person this way. I should treat this person that way. When I was a child, I had a best friend growing up. Over the years, we separated. And everybody could see that there was a level of homosexuality upon this boy. Everybody could see it. But I was the type that I did not personally judge anybody, especially at 6 or 7 years old. You don't do that, not as a child. So I didn't really see anything with that. And because I didn't see anything with that, I was actually accused by my very own family members. They said, "Oh, are you gay?" I'm like, "No. What are you talking about?" But think about it like this. If we are Christians and we have the belief that the words that are spoken can have an effect over our lives because we speak things into existence. If a person is coming to you over the years saying, "Are you gay? Are you gay? You hang out with gay people. These people are gay." Or you had that one gay friend, so maybe all your friends is gay, even if they don't know your friends. They just have the assumption that your friends is gay. If you keep having that spoken over you, wouldn't you question? And then if you began to become attracted to the person that was your friend as your first crush, because you didn't see anything wrong with that person, and then the people around you are talking about that person in such way, would that make you feel, is there something wrong with me? See, when I was a child, I was very swayed in the fact of, if I liked a person, I would like everything that they liked. So when I became a teenager and there was this one particular guy that I was interested in, which was the gay guy, I told him, yeah, I wouldn't mind kissing a girl or something like that. I remember saying that to him. Why did I say that? Thinking back on it, I only said it to him because I was interested in him. I'd had a crush on him for years. I didn't consciously understand what I was saying, nor was I consciously understanding what he was going through. Okay? We're kids. We're not thinking like that. Okay? Then later on, I got involved with a young man, completely different guy. Matter of factly, that guy and my best friend met each other when I was about 17, 18 years old. But that guy that I got involved with, he was dealing with it. Did I know? No, I didn't. The signs started to begin to show themselves over the years of us dating. He used to go out and do cosplays for the comic conventions, and it didn't really click, but it did. his characters were always either a flamboyant man or an androgynous woman. His family never questioned it, so I didn't question it. Towards the end of our first rotation of our relationship, he started going to the club, wearing fishnet shirts, all kinds of stuff. And I remember when we got back together, and then when we were breaking up, I asked him, why didn't you just tell me from the beginning that this is the type of lifestyle that you wanted to live? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not. And in the same sentence, turned around and said something to confirm that he was. I lived with him for 18 months at one particular point in time. He would go out to the club at night. Sometimes he would go out to the club and leave me at home. I remember just before our relationship ended, I went to the club with him one night, and he was buying the drinks. And because he used to sell his merchandise in the upper venue of the club. And this one particular night, he did something that made me see something. And what he did was, he had me pay for my drink. And it was a bracelet that I was eyeing, that I wanted, and I was like, oh, can I have that? Now, I'm dating you, so I'm assuming that you're going to give me the bracelet. He said, no. If you want it, then just pay for it. But then I watched him walk over to this gentleman that he was friends with in the club. Light-skinned white guy. He went over and whispered something in the guy's ear. And he gave that guy the bracelet for free. Now, maybe I'm seeing through things. But so this has been something that I've dealt with. So when I say I have the ability to go a couple different ways with this, I do. Now one might say, oh, she's angry. Oh, no, I'm not. Forgiveness is a blessing when you are a Christian. Because I was able to forgive him for that. Because he didn't know. And I actually had a conversation with one of my Christian friends a couple years ago. And we were talking, and she said something to me about he was in a state where he didn't understand yet. And we were young. From 17 through 25, I dated that man. It was the years that were our formidable years of figuring out what we did, what we wanted, what have you. Now, I can go into the spiritual stuff, and I will in another video, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But where am I going with this? There are 2 or 3 sides to every story. And it's because there are multiple sides to the story. Everybody wants their side to be the right side. And that can't always be the case, okay? God, in looking back at those 2 young men, the one I was friends with in my younger years and the one that I dated for the period of time that I dated him, if either one of them knew the true love of God and that God loved them and accepted them for who they were, Would their lives have been different? Would their decisions have been different? I had a discussion one time with a young woman who she experimented with being with a woman. She literally told me the entire experience. That in itself was a turnoff to the idea of ever wanting to be with a woman. When I was in the relationship with that young man, there were things that he used to do. There were anime cartoons he used to always watch that had very blatant gay innuendo in it. And there was also, he used to watch the L Word. He used to watch it. I was like, okay. All signs that should have told me what he was dealing with. But latter understanding is greater. If we are Christians and we are supposed to show the love of God, how do we bring people into the understanding of Jesus Christ? I mean, truly bring them into the understanding of Jesus Christ when they've been through something. Because the guy I was dating, his father had left him at 5 years old. He used to tell, and his mother told this story as well, about his father used to always promise to come visit him. And the one night he came and he did not visit him. And he sat out there waiting for his father to come pick him up. You see where the wound started? And that was at 5 years old. I remember nights I would sit and talk with him, and he would tell me about how he used to believe that he was going to hell. So, if you believe that you're going to hell, what way will you live your life? Tell me. What do you think? I remember when my friend told me one day that she'd seen that he had bisexual on his Facebook profile early on in our relationship. We'd been together about 2 years at this point. And I asked him about it. Now, this was the thing. I feel like he should have told me what he felt he was. Because he did not give me the opportunity to make a choice as to whether I wanted to be in the relationship with him or not. There were times that he tried to break up with me, and because I believe in love and relationships and I don't just drop a relationship like that, I tried to salvage the relationship over and over. That's why our relationship lasted 7 years, because we kept coming back to each other. But I think because I was willing to listen and I was a comforting person to him, that's why he kept coming back. And we allowed the relationship to continue to linger as long as we did. But the point of the fact is, in that time of my caring and love on this particular man, if I was loving on him with the love of Jesus, because let me tell you, when I started to, that's when I saw his dark side. That's when I saw we would argue the most. That's when I brought God up to this man. That's when I saw his darkness. Because he was fighting something. How do we show the love of Jesus to people that are fighting something like that? I had an intimate relationship with this man who had dealt with this. How do we show the love of Jesus to these people? I saw a video pop up on my YouTube feed the other day and it was a video of a young woman who was in the LGBT community, and she was stating that she's atheist and how she would never be a child of God because she can't believe in God. I don't think that's the case. I believe that either a super religious Christian talked to her and made her feel that she could not be loved by God, or she had a situation, could have been family, could have been friends, in order to turn her away from Jesus Christ and have her turn into this lifestyle. Society portrays a Christian in the church, especially in the media and the TV shows we watched, that the Christian will be the one that vilifies the gay person. I remember I used to watch TV show Star years ago, and Tyrese's character on that was a pastor. He was in love with the mother of this young man who was going through the process of becoming a transgender. Would walk around fully like a female. If you didn't know, you would have thought that she was just a heavy-set female. But it was a man. And in the show, in one of the episodes, they brought this transgender into the church, and Tyrese tried to bring the demons out of this person. You see, the media will portray a Christian as, I want to vilify you. I want to make you out to be the worst person. I'm going to bring your demons out of you. You will get more flies with honey than anything bitter. You have to show these people in this community the love of Jesus Christ. Period. After I separated from the man that I was with for 7.5 years, there was another young man I met in a business conference, and I was feeling him a little bit, and I exchanged numbers with him, and we had a conversation. I sat and talked with this young man for a few hours. He was into politics. Yet again, here I go, trying to transform myself into something that would be more acceptable to him in his lifestyle. And as I started talking to him about politics and all this kind of stuff, we started to have a deeper conversation. And in the midst of that deeper conversation, through our first conversation, as I was trying to gauge my feelings towards him, he told me that he had an incident. And I don't know what made him blurt it out, but he blurted out he had an incident where he was with a person that he thought was a female, but was actually a transgender. And he was literally dealing with a lot of suicidal ideations and all kinds of stuff. I could sit here and say, this can be a very good understanding of when you are in the lifestyle that you are in, whatever LGBTQ, LMNOP, whatever part of that. You need to talk to the person in which you're interested in. If my ex had talked to me in the early part of our relationship and honestly told me the issues that he was dealing with within himself, would I have vilified him and said, I can't be involved with you, I can't da 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 da, would I have been in a relationship with him? I would not have been in an intimate relationship with him, no. But I would have remained his friend. We probably would have still been friends up to this day because he was a good friend. I just felt betrayed in him not telling me his desires in that way. And look at what happened to this young man. Some people say that a transgender should have the right to be a transgender and have a relationship. But I believe, to be completely honest, that yes, they should have the ability to live their lifestyle and be completely honest with who they are. But they have the right to say, yes, I believe that they should tell whoever they are getting involved with, this is who I was. Because eventually it's going to come out. The person may eventually, if y'all get into a serious enough relationship where marriage or something is involved, if the person is a transgender that is a man going to a woman, meaning this person, the person that they're with assumes that they're with a woman, they're going to get married and then later find out, oh no, you never were initially a woman. And there's a level of dishonesty that and trust that is broken in that. So my fight has always been for be honest, be authentic, be who you are. I have no qualms against a person that is living that kind of lifestyle if that's their kind of lifestyle. But be honest, authentic about who you are. Yes, they were this way. Yes, they were born this way. Make the observation and decision the person that is coming into the thing, their decision whether they want to remain friends with you or whether they want to go further with you. Because some may actually choose to continue to remain in a relationship with that person. Do I understand where their fears are? Of course. Their fear is that they will be rejected. Either they will get into the relationship with the person and the person will say, yeah, okay, for a while I'll be in the relationship with you. And the fact of the matter is that the person, that their feelings will get caught up with that particular person. And then that person will say, well, I wasn't trying to be in this permanently. I just wanted to experience the experience with you and have the enjoyment of the time. Now I don't want to be with you. I can get that's what their issue would be. But the dishonesty of the person finding out later is going to make them angry. And it's not because the person wants to sit up there and be super radical and operate in a spirit of hate towards that person. It's that they just don't feel that there's an honesty there. This is going to be broken down into about 2 or 3 parts. So let's just say that now. There's a dishonesty. And that person feels like there should have been honesty in that scenario. This person probably could have loved them more had they known their truth. Now that we're coming into and this is the main reason I wanted to talk about this, we're coming into a time in our world where we cannot avoid the fact that the LGBTQ is very prominent in society. The media is going that way. Even Christian music, you're hearing about certain things in Christian music. You're hearing about this level of inclusion in pop culture. It's a literal drastic shift that's happening all right now. And I had to say that. And because that is happening, we need to actually have this conversation. Because when you talk to a person, you have to, one, know how to talk to a person. And two, as a Christian, you need to be able to understand a person. You must come to the level of understanding of who these people are, because they're there. They are there. You're not going to get away from them. And some of them are going to come and try to provoke you if you try to ignore them. Okay? So how do we come into the understanding of, one, who they are, in order so that we can help them find God? Because God is a level of love that they do not see. Because the church shows them that they cannot be loved by God. So how do we? I'm going to dig a little deeper in this next part that I'm going into, and talk about some experiences that I've had since that relationship. This is part 1. We're heading into part 2. This is Taj McCameron. Much love, faith, peace, and blessings to you.